and John McKennedy took this victory and parlayed it into the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Championship. He has a fast race car tonight and will definitely be a threat to repeat as winner. The championship for 2026 goes through that driver, Stephen Kopsick, with 2 wins and an ultra-fast race car tonight. He time-trialed in the top 10. Then there's Austin Beers, still trying to figure out Claremont Motorsport Park, but time trial in the top 5 and looks fast tonight in car 64. Patrick Emmerling, it's getting hot. It's Emmerling season. Look for him to turn up the wick as we hit the midpoint of 2026. Eric Goodale with the top 5 finish last time out. Fast race car tonight. He could be a dark horse. Then there's Matt Hirschman. All eyes on Big Money Matt, trying to sweep all 3 races in the Midsummer Championship for JDV Productions. Will he be a champion at the Clash at Claremont tonight on Flow Racing?
There's nothing like it. The sound of the mighty modified.
The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is set to go.
The green is out.
He spins the tires and we're racing. Very fast, very intense laps.
A little bit of a stutter step there. They come together.
There's a number of 10 to 13 different drivers that can easily win this race.
Trouble turn 4. Trips up just a bit.
Into the outside wall. He takes the checkered flag.
The Whelen Modified Tour set to do battle.
It's a beautiful Friday night here at Claremont Motorsport Park for the Clash at Claremont for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. My name's Andy Austin, and alongside Ryan Flores, we'll give you all the side-by-side racing action tonight. Amazing qualifying, blistering pace, and Ryan, this is going to be one heck of a show.
Oh, what a cool racetrack. If you've never been to Claremont Speedway like I haven't, if you look at an aerial view of this place, it looks like an egg, man. It is completely different than anything these drivers have really run. We've only have 6 drivers in the field that have been here before. Bad news for the field, though. 2 of those drivers are Matt Hirschman and John McKennedy. They qualified 1 and 2. They are surely our favorites for tonight.
Let's take a look at some track facts for Claremont. It opened in 1947 as a 3rd-mile track, as you mentioned, paved, but not paved like many other racetracks. Banking 8 degrees to 10 degrees, and 150 laps will tell the story. Can Matt Hirschman pick up his 2nd win in the Midsummer Championship for JDV Productions? He was the fast qualifier, but that doesn't mean that he is going to start on the pole, because we get ready to do the redraw. And we send it trackside to Bonza Tufa for tonight's redraw. Bonza?
Thank you, Andy. And yes, we're going to decide how many of our fastest qualifiers tonight will have to redraw to find out where they'll be starting tonight for the Clash at Claremont. Here's how it works. Our American Racer Pole Award winner will be spinning this wheel, and whatever number it lands on, that's how many of our fastest qualifiers will redraw, and they'll find out where they'll be starting for tonight's 150-lap race. The American Racer Pole Award winner for the 21st time in his career is Big Money Matt Hirschman. Before we spin the wheel, you use every inch of asphalt in your qualifying run. How was that run, and what do you have in race trim?
It was a pretty good lap. I mean, to get all the speed out of this place, you kind of got to use all the real estate. It's a very tight corner, so it's very line sensitive, and obviously we must have had a pretty good line and had some good speed, just nipped John by a little bit. So we'll see what we got for a race car tonight. So far, it's been a good day.
Well, I saw you give a little practice motion to the wheel to see how you're going to do spinning it. Give it a good rip. Now, the first time we did this at Seekonk, it was the entire top 10. At Riverhead, it was the top 4. Then at Seekonk again, it was the top 10. Man, Hirschman really spun this wheel. We could finish the whole race by the time it's done. Let's see where we end up. Who's feeling lucky tonight?
Oh, no.
It's coming down, it's coming down. 6, 4. Top 4. So it's going to be Hirschman, McKennedy, Hartwig, and Emmerling redrawing. Or top 6, excuse me. Top 6. That wheel takes a while to stop spinning. I looked a little too early, so it'll be Hirschman, McKennedy, Hartwig, Emmerling, Beers, and Christopher. So come on down, Matt. You get first dibs as the Pole Award winner. Don't take a look. Let's see where you end up. Trying to go back-to-back in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, coming off his victory at Seekonk Speedway. And he draws 3rd. P3 for Matt Hirschman inside the second row. Next up, John McKennedy, two-time winner this season. Let's see where he ends up. Second fastest in the time trial. He'll be starting 4th outside the second row. Then it's 15-year-old Holly Hartwig III. Really fast in practice, really fast in qualifying trim. Where will he be starting tonight? 5th. He'll be starting from the inside of the 3rd row. Next up, Patrick Emmerling. Very consistent this season. The pole is still up. Let's see if Emmerling in the 1 car draws first. He does. Patrick Emmerling starting on the pole. And Patrick, you ended second round of practice early. What's the confidence like for you guys to try and hit victory lane for the first time this season?
Yeah, I thought we were pretty happy with our car today, and yeah, starting position is going to help, and we're just going to try to keep her out there.
Patrick Emmerling looking for a good run. Had to work his way up from Seekonk last Wednesday, or 2 Wednesdays ago, to get a podium finish. Austin Beer's the last to draw, and he'll be starting in this order, second to last to draw. He'll be starting 6th, so not as much fortune for him in the redraw. That leaves Mike Christopher Jr. Yeah, he's peeking in because there's only 1 spot remaining. He doesn't like that one, so he's going to pick the same one. Outside the front row, Mike Christopher Jr. starting in the 2nd spot. So Patrick Emmerling, the USA Power #1, starting in position #1 as we get set for driver introductions coming up soon now. We'll go back to Andy Austin.
Thank you very much, Bonzo. We'll be hearing from him all throughout the evening and all the stories that happen off of the racetrack. Boy, Austin Beers cannot buy a break when it comes to the draw. Ryan talked to him earlier this evening, and he always seems to draw out back. It's going to be an amazing race. 150 laps here in the Clash at Claremont, and we're back after these on Flow Racing. And we're getting ready for the 2nd Clash at Claremont. In 2022, John McKennedy powered his way to a championship and also was the champion of the Clash at Claremont. Can he repeat tonight? Only 6 drivers in the field from 2022 are here tonight, so there's a lot of new blood and ready to pounce here for 150 laps. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the stars of tonight's show in a warm JDV Productions welcome for each and every one of these drivers as we introduce them. Starting position number 19, car number 18, the Merkel Racing Engines car. That is Ken Hagee out of Calverton, New York. Car number 15 starts next. On the outside of row number 9, the J&R Precast Dependable Energy sponsored ride for Joey Cipriano III out of Waterbury, Connecticut. Coming off a solid 8th place run at Seekonk, the Whelen Construction Harmon Funeral Home sponsored ride. Car number 9 is Jaden Harmon. Car number 3 will start next. One of the most storied vehicles in North America, the Bowler Racing Machine out of Oswego, New York. This is Tyler Ripkema. One of the many cars sponsored by USNE Power tonight will power off in position number 15. Car number 56, the youngest winner of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. This is Trevor Catalano. A home state driver starts next. The Tucker's Metal and Fabrication sponsored ride out of Swansea, New Hampshire. Car number 95 is Corey Plummer. The car sponsored by Horton Ave Materials starts next. Out of Shelton, Connecticut, car number 82 is Andrew Moeller. Lots to talk about with the driver who starts in position number 12. We're going to follow this story throughout the night. The USNE Catalano Motorsports sponsored ride out of Thompson, Connecticut for John Michael Jeanette. To his inside, another vehicle sponsored by USNE Power, the Lumax Package Store sponsored car number 20 out of Preston, Connecticut is Max Seckham. The road to the 2026 championship runs through car number 21 with 2 wins to his credit this season. The Whelen Construction Newtown Pool sponsored ride is Steven Kopsick. One of the few drivers with experience in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour at Claremont Motorsport Park starts in position number 9. The USNE powered sponsored ride out of Ontario, New York. This is Tommy Catalano. Last time the tour was at Claremont, he finished in the top 5. He has 2 top 5s this year and is always a threat out of Riverhead, New York. The GAF Roofing sponsored ride for Eric Goodell. Multi-generation driver starts next. The Business Time Motorsports sponsored ride, car number 05 out of Danbury, Connecticut for Teddy Hodgson IV. Starting position number 6 after the redraw, car number 64 out of Northampton, Pennsylvania. This is Austin Beers, the defending champion of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Starting position number 5, qualified position number 3, car number 73, just 15 years of age, is Paulie Hardwick III. Starting position number 4, after the redraw, qualified second fastest time for car number 79, this is John McKennedy. After the redraw, he qualifies in position number 3, trying for the $10,000 bonus to sweep all the midsummer races out of Northampton, Pennsylvania, the Bar Harbor Bank and Trust sponsored ride for Matt Hirschman. And now your front row. On the outside, the Elite Towing sponsored number 31 out of Wolcott, Connecticut. This is Mike Christopher Jr. And going pole position. As the season heats up and hits the midpoint, this is his sweet spot. Look for him to be fast tonight. The USNE Motorsports sponsored ride, car number 1 out of Orchard Park, New York. That is Patrick Emmerling. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting lineup for the Clash at Claremont. First time in 4 years here at Claremont Motorsport Park. My name's Andy Austin, along with Ryan Flores. We'll have the side-by-side racing action here tonight. And again, the redraw, Ryan, really messing with Austin Beers. He has been far back as 10th last week, draws position number 6. He cannot seem to buy a break when it comes to these redraws.
Well, Austin Beers might not be able to redraw well, but he always finds a way to finish well. Only one finish this year outside of the top 10, and that was an 11th at Oxford. This guy is the model of consistency in the redraw. It's going to be really important tonight because no tires available. You're not going to be able to put tires on these cars tonight. You can come in and swap them, but you got what you got. So track position is going to be king tonight.
And I believe there's a bit of a changing of the guard in the last couple of weeks, really last couple of months with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Some of the stars who have been part of the series the last couple of years are taking a step back, but it's really offered drivers like Paulie Hardwick III to break through. He's got a top 5 already this year, looked really fast. Bosman was saying how he just feels comfortable in practice, and this could be a night where we could see the youngest driver to break through to Whelen Modified Tour victory lane. The youngest right now is Catalano, but Paulie Hardwick could be a threat tonight.
Yeah, Trevor Catalano, you got to specify which one.
Okay.
There's 5 of them, and they all start with T's. So Amy and David are trying to throw us off. But Trevor Catalano, 17 years old last year. Paulie Hardwick, man, he's been on a tear. I think he's raced 5 times this past week between the ROC Tour and the Smart Tour. He's won 2 ROC races and just coming off a ton of momentum, looking for his first win at the pinnacle of modified racing in the Wheel Modified Tour, so he will be a threat tonight for sure.
Another driver who's always a threat in the last couple of years is Steven Kopsick. I mean, he's put together his first 2 wins. He has the point lead. He's led the most laps this year. But just in case he needed something extra in his arsenal, they saw a guy on the way to the racetrack with his thumb stuck out, and they looked a little closer and said, hey, that's Phil Moran, crew chief for Ron Siff. Let's see if we can take him to the racetrack. Of course, they have the history together, but Phil now turning the wrenches for car number 21 here tonight. And it looks like we're ready to set it down track.
Kopsick, man, he's my kind of racer.
And it looks like we're ready to set it down trackside to Bosna Tufa. Bosna?
Well, folks, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports given to us by our Grand Marshal from Whelen Engineering, Jackson Giles. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Oh, that's a 10. That was really, really good. And there's nothing like hearing those modifieds roar to life, rolling thunder for 150 laps. We're getting ready to turn things loose here in just a few moments, but we're going to step aside to give you all the green flag racing action. It is the Clash at Claremont live on Flow Racing. We're going to be back after these. 150 laps for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Before we turn these drivers loose, Brian Flores, you have some more intel on the Stephen Classic story. will retain the point lead in the mid-season championship, which will be decided in a couple of weeks at the the Monadnock Speedway and the duel at the dock. There's Dale Hedquist pounding his hand and excited. Now the crew joining him as well. This is going to be one jubilant driver who is going to victory lane for the first time this season. Really hard for 150 laps here tonight, putting the winner's cap on, the Whelen Modified Tour, and there goes Emmerling just sitting there collecting his thoughts, collecting his breath. One of, again, the most methodical drivers out there, but look at the sigh of relief. He's just taking it all in right now, and what a drive by number one, and just waited for the opportunity to get by Matt Hirschman, took it and did not look back. Let's send it down trackside to Patrick Emmerling in victory lane, Bonza Tufa.
Emmerling in victory lane, celebrating the victory tonight. You talked about how you felt the car was pretty good after finishing practice early. How was that run for 150 laps?
Really good. Super Dale over here, he works so hard, and his whole team works hard, and it was his, we came here, we ran a few weeks ago to figure out the track a little bit. We missed a little bit on the race and finished second, and it's a determination of the team. We put in the effort to go and go race another race here to get a feel for the track, and then we just made our adjustments and we unloaded that much stronger today. And I just got to give it up to the whole US&E Power, Energizer One group, and everyone involved. We kind of had a little bit of a slow start to the season. We were kind of struggling, and we were just trying to get. We're still top 3 in points, or I don't know where we are now, but. We're just working on getting in our groove, and we're finally kind of getting that. We're getting that going. We had a third Seacock, and here we end up with a win. So just absolutely incredible. I have to thank everybody involved, and just so special. A new track we have a racing tour race at, and we were able to. The 60 was really fast as always, and we were able to just kind of outlast them. I kind of screwed up right at the beginning. I wasn't aggressive enough, and I didn't want to lean on them, and I kind of thought I screwed myself for a second, but we were able to get back there. So just hats off the whole group, Dal, David Miller, the whole US&E Power #1 team.
Now, in the big picture, Stephen Kopsick, the point leader, had problems today, so this is going to be a big game for you guys. Halfway through the season, how important is the timing of this, and how much do you look at the big picture now?
It's something we're kind of worried about. We're just going to go out and do what we did today, win races, and results should hopefully take care of itself there.
All right, we got one more thing. We have the American Racer Tire Draw to see who from outside the top 10 will get a new free set of American Racer tires. It is the 17th place finisher that will get a free set, and that is Corey Plummer in the 95 as Patrick Emmerling celebrates win #1 of 2026, winning the Clash at Claremont.
Thank you very much, Bonza from Victory Lane, and you can see Super Dale there in the background. Already on the phone, we did it, and again, Ryan, this is the time of year where you start to fear a guy like Patrick Emmerling. They always seem to start, I wouldn't even say slow, but compared to what they do in the second half of the season, the first half gets a little light. Here we are at the midpoint of 2026, and there's the big handshake from Whelen, and first of what I believe will be a multiple victory season for the one team.
Yeah, you never count out Del Hequest and this #1 team, Patrick Emerling. They're always so strong. I know that the stats say that they're stronger through the summer, but they are always a force to be reckoned with, and they prove that here tonight as you see them. The pit crew's happy, man. They don't have to do much work tonight. They're excited. They look good down there in Victory Lane.
And let's go trackside again with our runner-up here tonight, Bonza Tufo.
Yeah, that runner-up finisher is Matt Hirschman, coming home second tonight after winning Seekonk. You led early on, but what more did you need from your car to hold off Emerling?
Just needed to be a little tighter and a little better drive, longer than it lasted. I think the best car won tonight, the best handling car. And the last time we were here, John won, but Dale was the crew chief on that. So obviously he's got a pretty good setup for here, and they just outlasted us tonight. I mean, once he got to me, I kind of knew there I was in trouble, and then once he got ahead of me, I think he was just doing a good job of managing his gap. But I'm kind of glad he did, because it just kept me in the game enough that I ended up still maintaining second. But like I said, close, but just not quite tonight. But hey, I mean, last Wednesday that was us, and tonight they got a win tonight, their first of the year. So these kind of runs are good nights and acceptable finishes. What happened in race 1 through I think it was 5, most of those are unacceptable. So we're I always want to, of course, you want to win, but second still was better than 17 other cars tonight. So pleased with that.
What's been the key these last couple of weeks to get back on the right track?
I don't really know that I have an answer to it. I really believe we just had some misfortune and kind of what we were dealt to start the year, and just some inconsistencies in the last 2 races. I believe we're right around the target, and if we can hit that, obviously our car still performs as it always has, and that's a top 5 car and can contend for wins. But we stuck with it. Like I said, there was some discussion as to whether we should or not, but if it